Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, November 11, 2025. Jamaica has received an additional $10 million from the United States government to support the country's relief efforts in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. It adds to $12 million previously received, bringing the total to $22 million. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness welcomed the continued partnership during a meeting with Under-Secretary of State for Foreign Assistance, Humanitarian Affairs and Religious Freedom, Jeremy Lewin, on Monday. Dr. Holness says while the figure is a sizable contribution, the preliminary damage to the economy, infrastructure, lives of many Jamaicans, housing and businesses is in excess of $6 to $8 billion, and that will increase when the assessment is completed.
So Jamaica's recovery will inevitably have to include support from our partners. And so it is reassuring to know that the United States, our closest partner in this region, is supportive and willing to provide us with as much help as we need. And we do take that with some comfort. But I would also say that Jamaica is investing heavily in its own resilience and its own ability to recover. It is not an easy task to do that, but it is something that we must do as an independent nation to stand on our own 2 feet and be able to treat with the problems that we face.
Prime Minister Holness indicates that the United States was one of the first international partners to respond to our crisis with logistic support, which includes helicopter services. Under-Secretary Jeremy Lewin says the United States stands willing to continue its support of search and rescue operations, provision and distribution of humanitarian aid, among other interventions.
Jamaican people, like our people, are proud and resilient, and we have every faith that they will rebound quickly and will build back even better. With that in mind, we will be here. We will be here tomorrow. We will be here next month. We'll be here for every stage of this recovery.
Prime Minister Holness says the country is now focused on the most urgent humanitarian needs, including food, shelter, water, and medicine for affected citizens.
The role of the government is to be empathetic, to be responsive as quickly as possible, but also to build the systems that will ensure that there is an enduring response. Because after a Category 5 hurricane, the relief phase of the disaster is likely to be extended. We're talking several weeks, if not months, of the need for an established supply chain of humanitarian assistance and relief.
The next phases will be recovery and reconstruction, which involve restoring critical infrastructure such as electricity, water, telecommunications, and road networks. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is expressing gratitude to all of Jamaica's international partners for their swift and sustained support of the country's relief efforts. Addressing Parliament last Tuesday, Dr. Holness detailed the wide range of global assistance that was strengthening the country's humanitarian and security response.
Support has come from the United States Southern Command, the government of El Salvador, with 287 personnel deployed, Canada through its operational support hub, the United Kingdom with an offshore patrol vessel, and regional partners including Belize, Bermuda, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and the Cayman Islands, which have provided support and aerial support, including helicopter support. This international solidarity and Venezuela. Venezuela has provided humanitarian relief. Our bilateral partners from Belgium, Canada, Colombia, El Salvador, Venezuela, the European Union, the Dominican Republic, France, Germany, Luxembourg, India, Mexico, the Netherlands, Peru, Spain, the United Kingdom, the United States. A list that I have not exhausted.
As recovery efforts continue, the Prime Minister says Jamaica's relief operations have been fortified by aid from bilateral and regional partners, international organizations, NGOs, and the Jamaican diaspora.
We are especially grateful for the outreach of His Majesty the King, the United Nations Secretary General, and many other heads of government who have conveyed their solidarity with Jamaica. We extend Heartfelt thanks to our CARICOM brothers and sisters and regional agencies such as SEDIMA, CARFA, and the Caribbean Development Bank for their immediate engagement.
Chairman of the Private Sector Coordination Committee, Senator Keith Duncan, says the private sector has been playing a major role in supporting Hurricane Melissa relief efforts across the island. He says to date, assistance has been provided to the Jamaica Defence Force, JDF, to develop its hub-and-spoke system for relief distribution, which includes logistics and manpower support.
We have provided warehouse space, we have provided equipment, trucking, transportation, as they build out this multi-purpose distribution model across Jamaica. As I said, we're mobilizing for access, chainsaws. Bringing in chainsaws because we don't have enough chainsaws and there are no more chainsaws in Jamaica. Earth-moving equipment to open up roads and access to the maroon communities.
Senator Duncan was speaking during a special press conference at Jamaica House on Thursday. He added that an emergency operations center had been established with private sector partners to coordinate efforts aimed at restoring business operations and revitalizing economic activity.
So working in tandem with everybody who is out there doing the work and clearing roads, getting light back in, getting water back in, the private sector is toe-to-toe working that through. We also have worked out the supply chain, and that has been in terms of the relief aid, the food, the water, the shelter, the building supplies. That's a supply chain thing that we're working through with the MNSS, who is in charge of procurement.
The Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, will host a pop-up livestock clinic in St. Elizabeth to provide urgent medical care for farm animals injured during Hurricane Melissa. The clinic is set for Wednesday, November 12 at 10 a.m. at 63 Coke Drive in Santa Cruz. It will offer on-site diagnosis and treatment for cattle, pigs, goats, and other livestock affected by the storm. This will be done in collaboration with Nutrimix, the Jamaica Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, Baroque Distributors Limited, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and the Veterinary Services Division of the Ministry of Agriculture. RADA is urging farmers in need of animal care or recovery support to attend the clinic. For additional information, farmers are encouraged to contact their RADA parish office. The National Fisheries Authority, NFA, has embarked on a rapid multi-phase response to assess the full extent of damage to the fisheries sector and to implement a comprehensive recovery and resilience plan. The initiative is being carried out in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, as well as the Caribbean Regional Fisheries Mechanism, CRFM. In a release, the NFA says preliminary assessments project losses amounting to billions of dollars from widespread destruction across fishing communities, aquaculture operations, and key infrastructure. In addition, severe devastation has been reported from western Manchester through northern St. Anne and in the eastern parishes of St. Thomas, Portland, and St. Mary. The NFA also confirms that several of its facilities in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland sustained heavy damage. Chief Executive Officer of the NFA, Dr. Gavin Bellamy, says the impact extends throughout the supply chain, and as such, the immediate focus will be on stabilizing the situation, supporting staff and fishers, and clearing critical choke points. Dr. Bellamy adds that efforts are underway to transport essential feed to aquaculture farms to prevent further losses and protect remaining fish stocks. The National Irrigation Commission Limited, NIC, has commenced distribution of free non-potable water to farming communities that have been significantly impacted by the hurricane. Distribution is now underway at the Beacon 1 and 2 and the Hounslow filling stations in St. Elizabeth, as well as the New Forest filling station in Manchester. The NIC says this effort is part of a greater relief initiative to support farmers and farming communities, recognizing that while the water is non-potable and not for drinking, it can still be used for essential purposes beyond agriculture. In addition, the NIC's technical teams have been actively deployed across all operational regions to clear canals, assess damage, and reinstate service to farmers. The Commission confirms that several systems have already been restored, and work continues urgently in areas still affected by power interruptions and blocked infrastructure. Farmers are encouraged to maintain contact with their respective regional offices for localized updates and to report any issues affecting water access. And finally, following the resumption of toll operations, a new toll access protocol has been established to allow for swift passage of authorized aid and relief vehicles to distribute humanitarian aid to those affected by the hurricane. According to the Ministry of Energy, Transport and Telecommunications, this came into effect on November 10. Under this new system, government agencies, NGOs, charitable groups, private individuals or volunteer groups, and international partners must submit requests for free toll access to the Toll Authority of Jamaica. Approvals will be processed within 9 hours or less to avoid delays. Applications should be emailed to toll.authority@mtw.gov.jm and jerome.palmer@mtw.gov.jm. Persons may call 876-929-5119 or 929-6393 for further information. Approved vehicles will receive a letter of authorization granting toll-free access, which must be shown at plazas for verification. Meanwhile, existing arrangements for emergency and security forces, including police, fire, ambulance, and military vehicles, remain unchanged, allowing unrestricted access to all toll roads. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.